Hello, Internet! Welcome to our Monster of the Week stream. This is our third installment of our limited series, Monster of the Week campaign, featuring these lovely players. We are down a player today. For those of you who have watched the first two episodes, you may notice that our lovely player Alex, who plays Matilda, Agent Jones, is not with us today. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it. So we are going to have maybe a little Deus Ex Machina moment with her character. But if you don't know who she is, you should check out the first two episodes. The VODs are on YouTube, and you can access those in the About down below or on the YouTube channel so that you can catch up. But you can certainly stay here today because our monster hunters are in the middle of some kind of gross situation right now, and it's a little hairy, literally. There's some corn husks involved that are a little bit more dangerous than they normally are. And we'd love for you to cheer them on as they face something nefarious that has just crawled out of the vents. They find themselves in a place called the Svalbard Seed Vault. So the whole campaign has taken place in this real-life location, which is in this setting in the very far Arctic North. It is a building that is built into a mountainside, and it has kind of a deep interior. So there's a front-facing atrium, and then as you get deeper and deeper into the building, you're getting back towards the scientific labs and also the seed storage, which is the primary purpose of this building. It stores the world's seeds in case of an apocalyptic event. So if everything goes down with the ship, we still have the ability to start again. Our heroes are part of a group called E.D.E.N, the Extraterrestrial De-escalation and Erasure network. Some of them have been with the organization for a long time. Some of them are quite new, but they're definitely getting some on-the-job training. As our heroes were told to investigate the disappearance of some seeds from the vault. They have investigated along the way some disappearances of townspeople on the ice, some strange kind of plant-like, spore-like, flesh-like matter that they found in some vents in various locations throughout the seed vault. And now they find themselves, as I mentioned, in a very disgusting situation, being surrounded by what appears to be sentient goop that has very recently taken hold of one of the guards that was guarding the scientific lab area in the back here. They are in an area where there's ice crystals all up and down the wall. It's basically like they're inside a freezer with that very cold air surrounding them. And there is combat afoot. But before we zoom into this very intense moment, I'd like our monster hunters to introduce themselves. Who are you? What are you all about? And why are you going to kick some butt? So let's start with Jimmi. Can you introduce your character?
Yeah. So my character is Manuel Fernandez. He is known as the Mundane. He is very heavily bearded, scruffy, glasses, probably a little portly, a little chubby. And we left off last time with him very definitely recoiling in fear and disgust from this strange goop that ate this poor security guard. But I mean, as you see him, he's like pulling out his phone, kind of texting his wife, being like, "Hey, I just want you to know, no, I love you." And you can see him kind of steeling himself, like you can see him like firming up, like, "No, this is what I signed up for. This is what I'm here for. Let's fucking, I don't know, burn this goop."
Awesome. And Mary, what about your character?
Don't dox my name. Jane Doe is this frizzy-haired redhead with like big, chunky, stupid glasses and a bunch of weird, junky necklaces and garbage, like dumpster clothes that she picked out of a dumpster probably, and then also I guess a jacket because we're in the seed vault. I don't know if we're doing that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cold.
It looks like, yeah, she is homeless. And her deal is that she's weird. We're supposed to explain why we're gonna kick some butt.
Yeah.
She's very weird. Very, very weird. And she's really good at corn. She's a former corn biologist.
Love it. Love it. And Noah, can you introduce your character?
I will be playing Art the Crooked. They are a shortish, very androgynous looking with a short, like, undercut, basically, with a very casual clothing, like streetwear kind of clothing, with a large, the big puffy winter, scientist jackets that you'll see when people are like in Antarctica and stuff on over that. Currently, there is also a smaller jacket poking out from under with a little tube sticking out the bottom with a little thing at it. It is a jacket flamethrower.
Yeah, that's a great point. Can you remind us of all of the gear that you're currently outfitted with? So you have a one-time use jacket flamethrower, right?
Yeah.
What else did you guys come up with last time?
I think there was a drone of some kind.
Yeah, there was a little robot dog.
It's a crab
that doesn't work very well.
On a crab. Yes.
Yep, Robo Crab.
I think there was the little sonar thingy that would ping whenever something weird is nearby.
Matilda
Although I mean,
actually, or was that that was you? Matilda had a measuring tool.
I think I had the alien-esque motion sensor, whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I think you also got respirators, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we're all wearing respirators.
Yep.
Right now.
You have them on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I've had mine on this whole time.
Okay.
Before we went in here.
And I think another reminder too is that I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but you convinced about the entire staff of this seed vault to be your ally for the rest of the adventure. Is that correct, as they were evacuating? Yep. All
I
right.
believe so.
So
I think
Sorry.
so.
Art spent one of their luck points to.
I think the luck point was to get Elsa out. I think I think I just rolled high enough on the other one.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So you currently have a bunch of allies, which means you won't have to do rolls to convince them of things. But they evacuated. So you made all of these allies and then you told them to get the heck out. So they have all exited the seed vault. You again find yourselves in the interior chamber. So you're past the atrium, you're past the detox area. You're inside this frozen atrium that looks like the inside of a freezer with kind of crusty ice crystals running up and down the walls, crackling underneath on the floor. And you have just seen the horrific sight of a goopy substance that has corn husk hairs and seemingly like human features, like that you would see on a face, but they're all kind of sliding around in this jelly-like substance, eyeballs and noses and things like that, just sliding through the goop of like this flesh-colored blob. It has sloughed through the vent. Manuel, you saw it kind of go inside the mouth and nose of Fresno, the security guard, and his eyes molded over with like a white fuzzy mold, like the pupils are no longer visible. And he is just kind of standing there like a half slumped figure just on a marionette string. And his arm was outstretched to swipe you in with his badge. He's still holding on to the badge. And as that happens, all of the vents around you also have this goopy material kind of dripping through the vents. Monster hunters. Matilda is still there. I'll NPC her as needed. So if you need something from her, she is now an NPC in our game. But monster hunters, I'm putting on the battle music. What do you do?
I think I'll start out by lighting the pilot light on my flamethrower jacket. And also, I think I miscounted earlier. I believe I only have 1 luck point left.
Ooh. Good to know.
Oh dear.
So you light the pilot light. What does that do? Does it just kind of get you ready to light up the jacket?
Basically, it means that all I need to do is pull the trigger, and the pilot light is what actually ignites whatever it shoots out, whether it be gas or gasoline or whatever.
All right. You all hear the faint sound that for a moment reminds you of someone getting lunch ready. It's just that click, 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 and you hear the jacket kind of get ready to ignite. What is JD and Manuel doing?
Manuel is turning to the one remaining security guard and being like, you saw that. Bullets aren't going to work against you. You need to get out of here.
Carla looks at you. She's shaken up. She's white with shock. She's like, this is my job. This is exactly what I'm paid for. I can't.
And go to the front door and keep people from coming in.
Okay. Okay. And she takes her weapon, which she had been pointing up at the vents, and goes towards the front door. And as she turns to do so, towards the door that you guys entered in from, she is greeted by another blob that splats down on the ground from the vent in front of her and begins to kind of take shape. All of the blobs that have sloughed through the vents, including the one on Fresno, as Fresno begins to shake as it exits his body, begin to take form. Fresno's body slumps to the ground. The gun and the badge clatter and skitter across the ice as all of these blobs form into like a quasi-human shape, but all of the limbs are in the wrong place. So there's an arm protruding from the chest directly out of the center. The head is kind of askew on the shoulder, like a growth coming out of the shoulder blade. And there's no real definition to it. It's just kind of quivering like jello, and occasionally it twitches and the limbs rearrange. And you see those corn husks poking out of all of the different areas on it. There are about 5 of them in this room, and they all begin shambling towards you all. Carla looks back at you, Jimmi, and says, I don't know about the door! And she begins to point her gun at it and says, stay back!
Listen to you, and your gun won't work on it. Fuck.
Are we surrounded?
You are surrounded. You're in a hallway. In front of you is the door into the science lab where you had met Phyllis earlier. Behind you is the door back into the detox room where you put on your parkas. And you have these vents that have spewed out these creatures. There are 5 of them in the room. And they are all beginning to walk towards you. And you hear kind of almost like a a sick moaning coming from like deep inside of them, and it rattles and it feels like wet, and they're like as they walk towards you.
Can I try and read a bad situation here?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm just appraising, seeing, okay, I'm somewhat used to these kind of situations, rock and a hard place type things, I think. So just kind of seeing, okay, now where's the gap where we can get out and not get absolutely mobbed by these things, because guns clearly don't work on it, and I only got one shot in this flamethrower.
So would you say that your biggest motivation right now is to find an exit, like a quick escape?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and read the bad situation.
All right, that is a 11.
Ooh, nice. With an 11, you get hold 3 to ask those questions.
All right, and I'm just gonna ask them right now, what's the best way out?
The best way out...
Are there any... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. If you want to line them up for me, that's fine.
Let's just go one at a time.
Sure. So as Art is looking around, they're kind of assessing, like, it's almost like that meme where you see the numbers and all the equations kind of flashing across the person as they're thinking. And it's the same with Art. Art is just like zooming in on like vents, doors. Can I channel through this ice? Like, how deep is it? The best way out, this is a very kind of bottlenecked area. And unfortunately, it's either swiping in through the badge and then going further into an area that you have not yet been in the seed vaults, which you saw on camera, though, which is where Harry was. Or you could potentially fight your way back, but you know that in the backwards direction has already been evacuated. But those are 2 of the best ways out of this room. It does not look like you could fit through the vents comfortably.
Okay. Are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
What do you got, Manuel?
Oh, I was gonna let Art finish, actually.
Okay, no
and
worries.
then say my piece.
Are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
Any dangers you haven't noticed? As Art is looking around to assess exits, they notice that Fresno's body, slumped on the ground, is beginning to jiggle in much the same way that the other bodies are like kind of shapeless and shifting. His skin begins to bubble up slightly.
And what's the best way to protect the victims?
And who would you consider the victims in this situation?
The security guard. Her name escapes me at the moment, but the other security guard.
Carla. The best way to protect Carla is to not let any of this substance touch her. You saw what it did to Fresno, and you think that she does not stand a chance. She doesn't have the resiliency of an E.D.E.N agent.
Right.
Manuel will also, like, talking to Carla, both everyone else, like, wait, Carla, get back from there. Maybe we can find something in the lab that'll help us.
She kind of looks over her shoulder hurriedly at you. She has the gun out and she's backing up, like not taking her eyes off of this goopy creature that is slowly shambling towards her. And she is so frightened that she actually bumps into you, Manuel, as she's listening to you. And she goes, ah! And she turns around really quickly with her gun drawn on you for like a split second, and then turns back around to the creature. She is just completely on eggshells right now.
Carla, we can do this, all right?
Grab
We're
the card.
professionals. We train for this, trust me.
Safety.
Right. Grab the card. Get away from Fresno. I think he's becoming one of those things. That's what it seems like. His skin is bubbling.
He's just a kid. He didn't deserve this. He's just a kid.
Yeah, well, stuff like this normally doesn't care
how
how much of a kid or how innocent you are. All it cares about is feeding, probably in this case. Just, we gotta get out of here, all right?
She looks to you, JD, and says, Doctor, what the hell is this?
Do I know what the hell this is?
I mean, you've never seen anything like this before.
Never seen anything like this before! It's some kind of corn fungus. It's infecting people. We're going to have a corn zombie apocalypse. We need to figure something out.
Yes, I was gonna.
We should have gone to Walgreens.
I was going to say, too, you do have the information that you got from the very super-powered microscopes from earlier. So you do have all of that at your disposal. But this particular creature, you've certainly never researched anything like it.
This is brand new, beyond my understanding. This must be some of the new science that they were going to present about. An experiment gone awry.
As this conversation is happening, the creatures are now about probably 6 inches in front of you guys. They have formed a little fight ring around you, and you hear the wet squelching as their lungs expand and contract within places that they're not supposed to be within their bodies. They're hitting into other organs and kind of fleshy matter as they kind of assemble.
Art, can you make us a hole so we can get to the security guard and into the labs?
Well, let's hope we can find some kerosene in the back, and I will do so. I will just flick my wrist and do Spider-Man, except instead of web, it is fire.
All right.
It's flaming whatever is inside it.
All right.
Protect the seeds as he's doing this fucking fire at them.
So let me clarify. So Art is using the flamethrower jacket. Who are your targets right now? Who do you hope to hit with this?
I'll hit as many as I would like to, but mainly I'm just trying to get them to back away a bit so that we have a hole to run through.
Okay, so there's 5 of them. Are you trying to go in a full circle, or are you doing a semicircle, or what do you see the motion as?
Semicircle. I'm cutting us a hole. I'm not trying to knock out all of these guys at once.
Okay, so that's the intention with the flamethrower. And then JD, you see this happening, and what does JD do?
Frigidericus expelicus! And she's gonna, try to put fridge shields on the seeds.
Which seeds?
Their doors, conjuring them up to cover up the seeds that are getting flamethrowed, potentially.
So, point of order, you're not in the seed vault yet. You're in the same atrium that before you go into the science lab, where you had talked to Phyllis. And the seed vault is even beyond that. You guys had never gone in there.
Well, that is my mistake then.
No worries.
Distracted. Although, if there are people to protect, I can still invoke my Frigidericus for those people.
Yeah, if you wanted to protect Carla or any of your teammates, what does your magic look like?
That'd be awesome. It looks like a giant, a bunch of refrigerator doors, surround people and cover them up.
That's awesome. Use magic, please.
All right.
We'll resolve that first.
It's 8 plus 3. Oh god, where the hell did I put my sheet? Oh, it's actually plus 4, so that's a dirty 12.
Nice. With that, your magic happens, and it works without issue. So describe what happens as your magic is effectively summoned.
Yeah, as these shields into place surrounding people I hold dear and not any of the monsters, and also Art, you have to be left out because, you got a flamethrower outside the bridge. They just, a bunch of, the fire from the flamethrower, bounces off them. It's very effective insulation in and out. They are surrounded by a comforting chill, and they see the insides of these fridge doors are, lined with half-empty ketchup bottles and stuff like that.
Are they like Smeg, like the old-looking refrigerator door, or are they modern stainless steel?
Oh no, they're super old.
Nice. So as these doors are summoned, Carla, for a moment, is just what the? And she starts to aim at all of them, and then realizes it's a fridge, and she hones in on the ketchup bottle, and she's like, "What the?" And she takes one shaking hand off the gun and holds up the ketchup bottle and shakes it. What is going on?
That's good soup right there.
Oh, what a day! As she's looking at the bottle. This happens simultaneously as Art's flamethrower just begins to immolate in a semicircle. The jacket begins to pump gasoline through the piping veins that have been sewn into the cloth, And do you see it as like a little like spigot or something that produces the flame on the wrist, kind of coming out of the sleeve?
Actually, I view it, again, depending on whether, I don't think we determined whether it was liquid or gas fuel. If it's gas fuel, it's going to be like a cone that kind of directs it away from your hand. And if it's liquid, it's just basically going to be a small pipe that's just basically a hose for the flaming liquid.
What's your preference?
Let's make it an actual flamethrower. Break the Geneva Conventions. Have an actual flamethrower that's liquid.
Awesome. So the pipe is kind of protruding from the coat sleeve, and fire bursts forth as you've activated the one use, let's say one use with fuel, right? You only have enough fuel for the one use currently. And it begins to just emit this arc of fire, and it's just super dramatic looking, like a huge burst of flame, like fire bending, basically, just in a big semicircle. These creatures begin to shriek, but it sounds like a human voice, but then it sounds like they're also drowning in their own liquids as they're like, as the fire begins to burn away some of the flesh. There's this horrific smell that fills the room. What happens next is you hear impacts on the sides of your fridge as they're throwing themselves, the ones that have not been burned, at this semicircle, trying to get to you. And you just hear the wet thud of flesh as it impacts the fridge doors that you've summoned, JD. And they begin to just kind of dribble down the side of the fridge, and you start to see the drips coming down off of the bottom of it. There is a path forward art that, as these kind of flaming, I guess ring wraith style, when the ring wraiths are on fire, they're just like, "Rah!" And they move to clear a path for you.
Oh, all right, go.
Yeah.
Go.
Manuel will try to lunge for the security badge that Fresno was holding, and like kind of grab it as he's running towards the seed bay door, where, because the lab is behind that, right?
It goes lab and then seed vault. So you have to go through the lab first.
Gotcha. Well, Manuel's trying to make it to the lab.
Yes, and that door is right in front of you. You just don't have the access yet.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to try to lunge for the card that would give me access to that door.
All right. Roll Act Under Pressure, as when you go to lunge towards the card, Fresno's animated body kind of jiggles and gurgles, and one of his eyeballs opens up, and it's just completely frosted over with a thick white mold, and some of the spores begin to float up into the air, and he goes and grabs onto your ankle. Roll Act Under Pressure, Manuel.
Oh my god, yes. I rolled a 10.
Nice. With a 10, sorry, my computer's being a little grumpy. With a 10, you do what you set out to do. So you feel your hands close around the badge, and you are being grabbed by the ankle, but you have the badge in hand. What do you do now?
I am trying to shake my ankle free and run towards the lab, kind of trying to, guys, a little help.
JD and Art, what do you do when you see Manuel struggling?
I have a big knife, and I'm just gonna try and cut off the hand at the wrist, basically.
All right.
I hope that makes it let go.
JD, what do you do?
Well, I don't want to interrupt what Art is doing, but I want to cut off the clothing that Manuel was wearing that the thing touched, because I just saw it become a zombie. Like, I don't want Manuel to become a fucking zombie. He just texted his wife he loves her. I guess, can I wait till after Art is done, and then if the hand is still, like, animated, cut off Manuel's fucking coat?
Yeah. So Art, roll Act Under Pressure as you are trying to get a clean slice on this hand.
All right. 7.
With a 7, you do succeed. So you do slice the hand, However, it does not sever through as you had hoped. You feel your knife begin to sink into the flesh, and your knife is lodged into a just solid, it's like stabbing a flan. Like it has just enveloped your knife, and you can no longer pull it free. And little bits of white fuzz begin to just kind of fluff out like dandelions from where you stabbed.
And I'll let it go.
Manuel, you still have this hand around your leg as you're kind of dragging forward towards the door with the key card. JD, what do you trigger to help?
We just saw a knife get lost. And the hand is still on fucking Manuel. Manuel, can you take your coat off? Can you take it off, please?
I'll do my best. I'll try to start practically unzipping. Maybe it gets stopped a little and force it through. And I'm like, wait, wouldn't it be my pants?
It would be your pants.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I fucking start stripping, man. I pull my pants off. I imagine it's like I forget what they call it, but yeah, there's like the strappy electrician stuff that goes up to your waist. I'm taking the straps off and trying to jump out of it.
Manuel, you successfully free yourself from the grip as your heavy electrician pants hit the icy ground, and the hand that had been grabbing onto them kind of scrabbles, and it does not seem very dexterous. So there's just kind of very loose gelatinous fingers just kind of scrabbling away at the cloth that you have dropped. However, please mark 1 point of cold harm as the icy interior of the room begins to make your legs begin to shake from the ice cold air.
Wonderful.
Just summon this. I want to make spectral pants for Manuel. I don't want him to run around in his underwear the whole campaign. It's better than to die in his tiny ways.
All right. So as JD summons spectral pants with her magic, the fridge, are the fridges still up? Usually magic can last half an hour if you'd like it to.
Oh. I mean, I don't think, no. I think that I'm focusing on the pants. I think that the fridge, we held up the fridges. We escaped. We're gonna drop the fridges.
Okay. So as the fridges dissipate, you see on the ground the 3 creatures that had splatted against them are now back in their gelatinous forms that you saw them emerge from the vent in, and they're trying to reform. So they're beginning to reform their bodies. There are 2 of them that had been lit on fire, and they are still emitting a very putrid smell. It seems like they can no longer see you very clearly. There's just a layer of soot all over them. And so they're kind of stumbling towards you. But Art, one is close to you, and there's also one close to Carla, of these kind of singed versions of the creature. JD, as you're summoning these pants, please roll Use Magic as you see Manuel begin to shiver from the cold.
6 + 4 is 10.
Nice. With a 10, it is a success, and the effect happens as you'd like. So what do these pants look like?
They are cowboy pants with cowboy boots.
Manuel, you see cowboy pants and boots apparate on you. You keep the harm until you can use the warm-up move, the custom move, but you are no longer taking harm from the cold.
Okay. Thanks.
I didn't see him. Sure thing. Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeehaw. Let's get in the lab, guys.
Art, as Manuel says this, one of the creatures reaches out towards you, and one of them reaches out towards Carla. These are the burnt, singed ones, and they seem like they're just kind of grasping at the air, but they almost seem to be able to smell you. What do you do?
Yeah. I'm going to just, shove Carla forward.
You're going to shove Carla forward? What's the intention of shoving her?
The intention of shoving her forward is that she does not get hit by these things.
Okay, so are you looking to take both of them on you?
I mean, the optimal option would be no, but I figure this is kind of me or her type situation, so...
So are you trying to get both of you out of the way, or are you mainly focusing on getting Carla out of the way?
I'm mainly focusing on getting Carla out of the way.
Okay, roll plus tough to protect someone.
Yeah.
What's that face?
Failure.
Uh-oh. What number?
It is 5.
5.
But I have something I could use.
And
I definitely don't want to.
I'm not sure how protecting people work, but can I shout at them, watch out behind you, and I have Lex get out of here, where if I can protect someone by telling them what to do, or by leading them out, I can do that?
Yeah, can you read the whole move? That's the one you just took, right?
No, this was something I took before. Let's get out of here. If you can protect someone by telling them what to do or by leading them out, roll plus charm instead of plus tough.
Okay, so you'd still have to do the move, but you can use your charm. Is your charm a stronger stat for you?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's legal to protect someone on a protect someone, but why not? Let's chain reaction this. So yeah, go ahead and roll plus charm. So what do you tell Carla to do?
I will yell at Carla. Carla, stop! Snap out of it! Come here! Get to the lab! Get to us!
Okay.
Stop! Drop that ketchup bottle and just run.
Okay, so go ahead and roll plus charm. You're going to roll protect someone as well. Unfortunately, it's protect someone, not help out. So Art, your move still stands. Like you have failed to help Carla. That still stands unless you want to do something to change that outcome. But Manuel will allow like another attempt to protect Carla with his separate move.
I'll let it stand.
Okay.
I'll let my failure stand.
That's a 5. Okay.
That's a 5.
All right. So as...
Can you spend a luck point on someone else?
That's a good question. Can you?
I want to spend a luck point on myself.
I don't know if you can spend a luck point on... No, I think it's your luck. Like, it's your own luck for yourself. I do believe. And if that's not true, that's how we'll play it in this game, because you have things tied to your luck points, too. Do you want to spend a luck, Manuel?
I do. Because I don't want Carla to get hurt.
Okay. So how do you... she doesn't seem... She's so frazzled. She's in shock. Her face is kind of just drained of blood. She's white, shaking, and she's holding the ketchup bottle and staring at it almost as like it's trying to ground her to reality. And she's like, what is this doing here? How do you help Carla?
I think I reach down, pick up the pants that I had thrown off, and just chuck it at her to try to like wake her up.
Carla is... Go ahead.
I do the towel whip thing, but with my electrician's pants.
All right. And you spend a luck to do so?
Yes.
All right. So how many luck points do you have left? 1. All right. The electrician's pants hit Carla in the back of the head harmlessly, but it does create a shock for her system. And she looks at the ketchup bottle and then immediately snaps back to reality and says, "Get the heck away from me!" to the blobby thing, and chucks the ketchup bottle at its head. The ketchup bottle crashes into the hard skull in the inside of this creature's blobbiness, and begins to sink down its face, or what would be its face. It's kind of moving around with its body parts. So currently in the place where you think it would be its face, it's like a knee that's protruding and kind of mimicking a head shape. But the ketchup just drips down the body, and it looks like it's been wounded, but it's ketchup. So it does not successfully grasp onto Carla as it had intended. And she backs up again into you, Manuel, with her gun trained on it and says, "Okay, you got the badge, let's go." As this is happening, Art, you had failed to protect Carla in this moment. You had jumped towards her is that what you were doing? Jumping towards her? Or how were you intending to protect her?
Depending on how far away we are, it would either be jumping or just like basically grabbing her arm and trying to throw her forward.
Gotcha. So as you kind of move to help her, your balance shifts and the ice under your feet catches your foot in a weird spot and you slip unexpectedly. You don't fall, but your weight is thrown off of balance. And instead of pulling Carla out of harm's way, you fall directly into the creature that is reaching towards you that you had just burned with a flamethrower. The creature, being kind of in a melee range with you, is going to lift up its hand, and in its hand you see, although the hand is kind of shifting and like reshaping with its blobbiness, you see in the hand embedded teeth, like human teeth, and you also see yellow corn pellets. And it is going to strike you against the face with these seeds and teeth, and you suffer two harm damage from that, as you feel kind of the hardness of these little indentations in the soft flesh just smack into your face.
All right, and then I'll go ahead and try and catch up with my group.
So you're running away from it?
Yeah.
Okay. So Art is fleeing this creature. JD, what are you doing?
Do we know that he has been potentially infected with zombie fungus disease?
Just saw him get hit in the face with it.
Okay. Is Carla still in danger?
Carla's with Manuel. They've kind of formed a mundane duo, and they're both like running towards the door.
Then JD is going to point her palm at the fungus monster that just like snacked on Art a little bit. Can I aim around him? Is that possible?
Yeah, you can intend to aim around him.
She's going to summon the spirit of Pitbull by saying, I summon the spirit of Pitbull! Fireball! And she's gonna launch a fireball at the fungus thing with weird 6 + 3 + 4 is 13.
Holy cow. With a 13...
Great.
What's that?
Fireball.
Oh my god. If I didn't have copyright infringement, I would play that right now. Everyone at home, just put it on. Just put it on your home computer.
It's a Lion team, but there are 6 eyes, and fuck it. I don't care how big the room is. I cast Fireball.
With a 13, that is a bonus effect. Actually... Oh, I don't have it written here. I have to go grab my sheet with all my little cheat codes on it. I mean, it works without issue. I feel like there's something else that happens, though, with big magic on a 13.
Use magic. On a 10 plus, the magic works without issues, choose your effect. And then...
Do you have the bonus ones on there? Give me 1 second. It's right on the shelf. One moment, please. We'll be right back. I gotta go get my piece of paper.
Gracious.
All right. Gotcha. So on use magic. Oh, of course it's not on here. Let's just say it's extra badass while I look it up in the rule set.
Avoiding Art is the curve.
Yeah, well, that's successful no matter what. Gosh, you did it once on you put like Juicy Couture on someone in glitter and you also got it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Being weird pays off, kids.
Let me pull up my keeper rules.
God, that's a fun game.
Oh, here it is. On a 12 plus, I knew we'd find it. On a 12 plus, the keeper will offer you, so generic, will offer you some additional benefit. So you miss art with, you kind of just curve around them with the magic, no issue. With the fireball. Pitbull is just resonating within the chamber. The music is just kind of like, I don't know, you've got like reggaeton horn, like the ice begins to like crack a little bit as this music fills up this chamber. Maybe that's the added effect, is that Pitbull actually plays while you summon this.
Fantastic. Yeah.
The fireball strikes into the creature, which begins to, again, have that gurgling shriek. The smell is almost unbearable as it begins to be roasted like a rotisserie chicken. The fireball is quite sizable, and so it is just continually aflame. Art, you see the teeth that were in its hand and the corn. The corn begins to pop, and popcorn begins to shoot out of its hand, and the teeth begin to blacken.
I'll kind of stumble back and then just turn and run.
All right, that's a good call. So right now we have Manuel, Carla, closest to the door. Art, I would say, is in the middle rank. And JD, after having cast this fireball, you are in the back rank. And your hand is just kind of still smoking slightly as the last dulcet tones of Pitbull fade away.
Is Agent Matilda Jones?
She's NPCing with you guys. Yeah,
Okay, so
she's a non-starter. Like, you don't have to protect her or anything. If you need her for something, she could be an asset still, but
Make sure she was all right. That's
she's
all.
good. She's good. She's with you. What do you guys do next?
Manuel is gonna try to swipe them into the lab, and if that goes without issue, he's gonna start just rummaging through bottles, shouting, "Yo, JD, you are the science lady. What should we throw at it?"
Well, I don't have the things I need from Walgreens, but maybe they're in this laboratory. Let me look.
I mean, can we just throw fucking acid or something? Or I don't know, do science places have propane? They're on fire.
You know, they've got Bunsen burners, and those have flame juice in them. I don't know what kind.
Flame juice.
I'm drinking corn up in flame juice. I don't have flame juice and flame juice accessories, but let's use this.
Is there a gas pipe anywhere?
So, Manuel, you run into the room and you immediately begin looking for a gas pipe. I believe everyone Scooby-Doo's in right after you, just kind of with all the momentum and running, as your intention is to escape. The door is still open and it needs to be key-carded shut. Who is going to man the shutting of the door?
That'd be useful.
Carla?
She's got a key card.
You want the NPC to do it?
He's holding it. Carla, give me your card. Will you do it? You refused to cooperate previously.
I don't have the card. Fresno had the card. I have the gun. I'm the one with the gun.
Here.
Oh, Manuel, quickly.
Wait, I know it's dumb, but Manuel's gonna do it anyways. I'm gonna try to toss the card to JD.
You toss the card to JD.
Toss the card to JD.
You can do that. It flies through the air, and it has a little sparkle as it turns and spins in the air as everyone watches it as it falls in slow motion and lands squarely in your hand, JD.
Wow, I'm really bad at catching things in real life. But JD's not. All right. She's gonna run to the door and swipe it.
All right, roll act under pressure to see if you can get to it in time before these goop monsters can enter the room.
Well, that was a 6 and a 5, which is good because my modifier is garbage. Under pressure is cool. She's -1 cool, so that's a 10.
With a 10, you do what you set out to do. You guys see these creatures. The one that had been completely immolated by the fireball is pretty much out for the count. It still is moving and twitching, but it's basically covered in popcorn that has been embedded into its body, and it is just kind of in the corner, crisping a little bit. But the other ones, 4 left, rush at the door, The ones who had hit the fridge have now reformed into their humanoid forms. And the one that had been slightly burned before by Art is back in action. And the doors slide shut with that familiar hiss, just as all of them go, and they splat against the door. And you hear the thud, doom, 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 as all 4 of them hit into the door just as it closes, JD. You find yourself in the science lab. It's where you had met with with Phyllis before, the lab tech. You see the high-powered microscopes and other various scientific equipment that I only have a cursory understanding of and have a poetic license in what it does. And there's lots of, Manuel, there's lots of Bunsen burners, there's lots of various things that could generate flame within this area.
Is there acetone in this lab?
Yeah, I would say so.
Is there styrofoam in this lab?
You do see some discarded coffee cups from the cafeteria that JD you recognize.
Okay.
What's the plan, Art?
From your cafeteria work.
I would like to scavenge all the styrofoam that I can from the discarded coffee cups and mix it with the acetone, which creates a very impromptu napalm. Because the melted styrofoam makes it sticky, and the acetone burns.
Is there... I would assume this is not a controlled experiment. I feel like there may be some danger in doing this.
Definitely.
All right, so what is Art doing exactly when you find these materials?
Basically just finding a tub or something to mix it in, and just pouring the acetone and dumping the styrofoam cups in it and mixing it with one of the glass stirrers until hopefully it becomes like a paste.
JD and Manuel, you see Art begin to get to work on this experiment. Carla is just sitting there breathing heavily and just shaking her head and saying, I don't want to die like this. I don't want to die like this. What are you doing?
You're not going to die, because we're going to do science! I'm gonna shake Carla and put a beaker in each of her hands, double fisting. Art, do science! You're doing good science!
JD, go help Art. I'll talk to Carla.
Okay. You've got it. I got her 90% of the way there. I think it was really reassuring. Do this.
Carla has
surprising amount of ways to make improvised explosives and weapons and stuff with just common household chemicals.
Now, Noah? What are you doing?
I am making improvised napalm with styrofoam.
I had to Google it to believe you because there's a kid's science experiment where you melt styrofoam and acetone. I didn't know it was napalm.
It's not napalm. It acts like napalm where it sticks to things and burns.
The more you know.
It's not like napalm where it ignites just in the air.
The more you know, though.
You need to light it.
I'm glad it doesn't ignite in the air because I was concerned about that, but I am going to go help Art with science to make sure that whatever next theme.
All right, so you're assisting Art?
Yes.
Okay. Art, I would like you to roll Act Under Pressure because as you are making these ingredients for a very dangerous substance, you hear the thud against the door, and it provides this insistent, kind of almost like a pulse or a heartbeat to the situation, and you just feel your blood pressure rising with the pressure. What's that?
I don't want this to fail. Because if it fails, I think I forgot to turn off the pilot light from my jacket. So I'm going to have something else become white hot, and I'll burn my last luck point.
What number did you get? I'm sorry, your roll cut out. A 6?
I got a 6.
Well, JD said that
JD
she was assisting you. JD, can you roll help out? Before you burn your last luck.
Yeah,
we'll see.
before I burn my last luck.
Actually helpful. Help out is cool. Well, I'm very uncool. It's a 2 and a 4. 6. Minus
6 on the help?
5.
All right. Art, are you going to spend that luck point?
I will.
All right. So what happens is that with all of the pressure of the situation, Art, you accidentally realize that you have left the pilot light on your jacket. And that is enough to send you into a right-out panic. And you're like, wait, stop. Oh no, I've already mixed the thing. Oh my gosh. And you try to just kind of like find the off switch in your suit to not cause yourself some bodily harm. As you're doing that, JD tries to help you and says, you know, like, oh, you need to do this and that, thinking like it's just the experiment that you're having trouble with, not your suit. So between the two of you, you're kind of fumbling for different things. And it looks like this thing is going to go off in an explosion, for real this time. I know you guys said the word explosion meant cool, but you think that perhaps this will be an explosion that perhaps ends both of your lives. When Art, you focus in on the power that you have made a bargain for. In your pocket, there is a coin with an arcane symbol on it, and it flashes red and kind of fills the crevices of the coin, this metallic surface, with a red energy that looks somewhat like blood that fills up the surface. And you yourself feel this energy kind of go through your body, and it has a cooling effect. The gas line, which was on and you could not find a way to turn it off in time, just immediately kind of caps off. Like all of the switches, all of the functions just they power down, like an EMP has been generated from your body and stops this technology from potentially blowing you up. As your eyes flash red and you feel kind of this arcane bargain, save your life, but at what cost? As a voice in your head says, well, I do believe we will be having a conversation soon. As this deep, resonant voice that only Art can hear fills their mind.
Under his breath, Art will just go, shit. Okay, it's done. It's done. Do not get any on you, alright?
You have successfully created the device, the napalm-esque device, though, without any bodily harm to either you or to JD. But you realize that the bargain that gave you these powers, this ability to kind of push your luck beyond the boundaries of what you normally could do, the creature that gave this to you is going to very soon come to call on you.
Yeah. All right.
While this is happening, Manuel has both hands on Carla's shoulder and is like down on eye level, looking into her eyes and being like, Carla, deep breaths. Count down from 10 with me, okay? You're going to make it through.
I've never faced anything like this before. I mean, I used to be a mall cop. What am I doing here?
Hey girl, I'm an electrician. I'm gonna be honest, it's new to me too, but you have people you care about, right? People you care about back home that you're here working for. Think of them. Think about how happy they're gonna be when you return to them safe and sound, and we can make it through this. You just need to focus, okay?
Okay, you're right. Stay focused, Carla. Stay focused. She kind of looks at you with a new resolve in her eye and says, thanks. You know, I think I can help. I didn't want to say anything about it, but recently there's been some weird noises and weird smells coming out of Dr. Mallon's lab. And I don't know, maybe if we could get to the bottom of this, it could be coming from there.
Maybe. Oh, guys, did you guys make the thing?
Yeah, it's probably another single-use thing, but it'll burn like the other one.
All right. Carla says that we might be able to find something out in Dr. Mallon's lab. So I mean, Manuel will glance out the door with the goop kind of banging at it. If we can make it through that we can make a break for it.
As you look at the door, Manuel, you see that at the bottom of the door, the fleshy substance has begun to trickle underneath, and it kind of looks like a little bit of an oil slick just spilling across the floor as various eyeballs and toenails and like little bits of human hair and scalp begin to float to the surface on it as it is just kind of jiggling its way over the floor towards you.
JD, any of these things acidic or like painful to throw at?
Oh, most definitely, yes. Here, grab anything in the yellow bin. That means acid.
can I pick it up and like just start handing out various vials to everyone?
Yeah, definitely. So everyone is now equipped with, let's say, 2 vials of caustic acid that you found in the lab. Carla takes the vials, puts them in her uniform pocket, holds the gun up to her face in like what she hopes is a badass pose, and she's like, "I can take you to Dr. Mallon's lab. Follow me."
Quick redaction, it's been a while since I've been in a lab, and white is actually acid. It doesn't matter, maybe it's different in this world.
Totally different in this world. JD is spot on.
Thank you. Let's go!
All right, everyone ready? I'm about to open the door. I'll give a countdown, like 3, 2, 1.
Don't die!
Are you opening the door that Carla indicated?
Oh, is it not the front door?
So this building is like basically built into a mountain, and it's one long hallway. So like as you progress through the rooms, you're progressing into different parts of the building, but there's very little branching out because they had to excavate inside of a mountain. So they're just like, go long. Basically just keep going straight.
Gotcha.
Yep. So there's a door that the ooze is coming from, and then there's a door on the back wall that leads towards the seed vaults.
Okay, so we're going through the one that the ooze isn't coming through.
Yes, if you wanted to follow Carla, then yes.
Gotcha. Yeah, let's follow Carla. I thought we were gonna have to fight back out to the ooze. This is much better.
Yeah, Carla's standing near the door with the gun drawn, like trying to look like a badass as Manuel is about to open up the other door, and she's like, no, don't open that door!
Wait, I thought we had to...
No!
That door!
This one! So Carla needs the badge from you to swipe in, but if it's your intention to go that way, she's ready to swipe you in whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
So
guys, let's
go for it, Manuel.
No, let's do it.
So
let's do this.
What is the intense power pose that the 3 of you are doing as this next door opens? What do your characters look like as the next room is revealed?
Touching both jars in my hands, kind
and
of
I'm
like
holding like the beaker or whatever that has my styrofoam acetone stuff in it, and the other hand has the acid.
Yep. Jane Doe, JD's got on her little protective lab glasses, lab gear, and she's holding the container full of corrosive chemicals.
All right. You guys look pretty badass as the door opens up and reveals the titular seed vault that this place is named after. It's taken you many rooms to get here. It's very well guarded. However, the door opens and you see the rows and rows of precious seeds from all over the world. Countries have sent these here for preservation in cold storage. Hopefully never needed, but if there ever was an apocalypse, this is how humanity's flora can restart again. You see boxes and crates and various labels in different languages, and it's basically like a big, tall industrial shelf, rows and rows and rows of them filled up with these crates. You'd see the thing you saw on camera before, which is a box that has been overturned at the very far end of one of these rows, with some seed vials, glass vials, just kind of tinkering all over the floor. And that is where you last saw Harry on camera. And now you're seeing it kind of live and in person. You also see another door on the back wall of this room.
Do you see any sign of Harry?
You look around and you do not see any sign of Harry. Roll read a bad situation.
All right. That is plus question mark?
Plus sharp.
Plus sharp. Okay. That is good. That is a 7.
A 7 is a partial success. So on a 7, you can hold one of those questions. So which question would you like to ask?
Okay. Gosh, well, I'm trying to Damn it, none of these things have anything to do with Harry. I want to know if Harry's okay. I
You could
guess.
ask about the victims.
What's the best way to protect the victims? What's the best way to protect Harry?
So as Manuel is looking around the room for signs of Harry, he doesn't see anything. I mean, he doesn't see Harry in the room. He last saw the cameras fuzz out. You think about that. You look up at the camera and you see some of that fleshy, bubbly substance has kind of infiltrated the camera, the security camera that you had been spying on before, and it's shorted it out. So it has this. Some of this substance has kind of deactivated the camera in this room.
Gotcha.
The best way to protect Harry would be to find where he went, and you know that this is a very linear space, and you did not see Harry on the way in here. So you can only assume that he is beyond the furthest door.
I'm doing all of this as we're following Carla. I imagine we're all pretty in a bit of a hurry.
Yeah, Carla is kind of like motioning you forward and saying, well, her lab is back here. I mean, technically we're not allowed in, but I have an emergency code that I can plug in if we need to. But, I mean, honestly, I know I'm the one with the gun, but I don't feel like I'm in charge here, so just let me know what you guys want me to do.
I mean, we got to get in there and stop whatever those globby things are, right?
We should talk to the doctor. We need to talk to Dr. Malin. I know they're behind this and everything all fits together.
Does she often have these conspiracy theories?
It's not a theory if it's true.
That's not... I thought you were a scientist. It's
just
not...
a theory and it's very real. So let's continue.
So is it the will of the party to keep moving forward?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
As you all walk towards the back door, you see from the previous room, the science lab, the masses of blobs have slid their way under the door and have reformed and are now kind of shambling forwards towards the opened door behind you. So they're giving chase. So basically, any room that you go in, if you have any detriment to your progress, they will catch up. They're currently like one room behind you. They have to deform and slither again on this door that you've just closed behind you. So they're basically like, bloop, 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 bloop. So as long as you have a door between you, you have that that leeway, that space between you. But they are in pursuit. As you pass the box that had been fallen on the floor that you saw Harry looking in at the last moment you saw him, you see his glasses kind of on the ground. You also see a clipboard that he had been carrying, and you see kind of a scuff mark from his shoe.
First things first, let's close the door. Get the key card in the door. Let's pour some acid under the door so they can't slither in.
I'll turn around, close the door, and just like smash the bottle on the ground.
Nice. The acid begins to eat through the blob substance that has poked its way underneath the door, and it sizzles and it kind of recoils, and you hear that gurgling scream again as it kind of backs up underneath the door. So it has been impeded for a little bit with this damage. Carla looks at you and says,
Carla.
okay, the code is, she's just really trying to remember. Gosh, is it 7521? Oh God, and she's just trying to plug in all of the numbers.
Try 1111.
Dr. Malin would never, 1111. Oh, yep, that's it. The door slides open. I guess it's good to keep your emergency code simple.
Yeah. And, in addition to the acid, I'm just gonna, like, pour the, like, basically smear the paste on the ground at the crack of the door. Yeah. Because, I mean, it's a paste. I'm not gonna be able to, like, throw it at them.
Oh,
Really?
not at all, yeah.
So
And
this
then
is
I'm just gonna
the
light it.
okay, and this is the door behind you that leads back to the science lab, correct?
Yes, this is a deterrent from the goo to buy us a little more time.
All right. As you light it, you all see Art kind of almost like with a manic glow on their face as they have the flame lit up, and like all of the flame that has caught, so the gel that has caught a light kind of like lights up their face, like with the glow of the flames, and it's like yellow and orange kind of flickering, and it looks very like dramatic, like the summoner of all fire is the look in Art's face as this flame begins to burn brightly at the bottom of the door, and you hear the screeching, and again that smell hits you. It smells a little bit like overcooked meat. It smells like burning fibers. It smells horrible. As it kind of like fills the room with like this black plume of smoke that begins to puff out from under the door. But the pursuit, at least for the moment, has completely stopped. When the flame dies down, you don't see any tendrils or any kind of blobs coming from underneath the door.
To be honest, JD,
I'll look
I
at
don't-
Carla and just be like, you might want to like duck a bit. That is like, that smoke's not good for you.
Carla is coughing. She's like, what?
Fire training.
Can
You
I-
gotta get.
can I offer Carla my gas mask?
You can.
I'll take it off and be like, here, wear this for a bit.
So as Carla puts on the respirator, it seems like she's breathing a bit easier, but Manuel, you do suffer one harm as the smoke fills your lungs.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So anyways, JD, I'm gonna be honest, all of these science things are beyond me. This is all on you.
You'll find here, come here. It's an old smoker's trick. It is an old. All right, I'm going to do some healing magic on you to heal you from the smoke. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Hit me with that voodoo, JD.
Prepare. Pixie, go. She's gonna like clean out his lungs like an air conditioner like appears in his mouth and like cleans his shit out.
Roll use magic.
6, 8, 2, 8 plus 4 is 12. Dirty 12.
Holy moly. Yeah, that'll do it. So with your effect happens, and I would like you to pick the extra effect for this.
Oh. The extra effect is that Manuel's mouth also is sparkly clean after it also brushes his teeth.
Manuel, it's like you've done like at least a year of Crest White Strips. It looks great.
We call it to cleanse. I do them often. That's why I have such a sonorous voice.
I see.
And
Thanks.
think Art will just kind of, okay, we got them off our back for a little bit, and I think they'll like just, okay, give me a second, and they'll like rip the bottom part of their shirt off to make like a makeshift bandage to just kind of cover the stuff, and I will try and perform first aid on myself.
Okay. So, Manuel, you are able to heal the one harm because of the cleaning of your air-conditioned lungs. And Art, with first aid, I think because the pursuit is no longer happening, this could be considered like a chill spot to heal 1 point of harm for a single injury or condition. However, it does take a few minutes. Do you wish to wait the few minutes here? Or would you like to continue forward and not be able to perform the first aid move?
I'm going to just sit out here and do that, just because this wound probably does not feel good.
All right. So Art begins to bandage themselves and like pulling out little shreds of like human teeth and corn from the open wound. So you are able to heal 1 point of harm. However, 2 to 3 minutes goes by, and you, from the darkness of the open door that Carla had opened with the code, you hear kind of like a low rumbling sound, like a large engine being started. But you are able to heal that harm.
Through the walls?
Do you hear that?
You know, that's at
yeah.
least, you know, this is going awful so far, but it's not as bad as it could have been, and he will look, and they will look knowingly at Manuel and Matilda.
Matilda will say,
Manuel,
please don't talk about the one incident that is very embarrassing to me and a stain on my record.
Manuel will look puzzledly back at you and then turn to the walls and be like, do I have any idea what could be making that sound? Like, is there any kind of giant fan?
From your knowledge of the building and even this laboratory, no, there's nothing that at least is on the blueprint that you were given that could make a sound like that.
I have no idea what could be making this. Either it was added after the blueprint was made, or it was never put on there in the first place, or it's not machinery at all.
Should we send in the robo-crab?
Love that question.
That sounds like a plan.
Manuel,
Maybe we should also take a...
robo-crab.
Alright, I can pad this. Maybe you guys can take a look around her lab. Maybe she left notes?
Yes, we'll do science. You do crab science, and we'll do science.
Carla, can you watch the door?
Yeah, of course. Let me know if you need me. I'll be here. And do you have any of that paste stuff left that I can use, or is it all used up?
Yeah. It's kind of... I wasn't able to make much, because, unsurprisingly, there wasn't a lot of styrofoam.
Yeah, I mean,
Here.
a lot of people like to
used
drink
it
coffee
all.
in the cafeteria, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not making my way back to the cafeteria.
Yeah,
Here,
no.
take my other acid jar though.
Oh,
I'll be
thank
busy
you.
padding the crab.
Thank you. Manuel, you're always looking out for others. That's a great trait to have, especially in a place like this where everyone's just looking out for themselves.
You know, I try my best.
Yeah. I wish you were my guard partner rather than Fresno. Rest in peace.
You know, it's rude to speak ill of the dead. Well, is he dead? Is he dead?
It's unclear.
Well, he's a bad guard, regardless. If he's dead or not, I'm sure he's not going to be a guard after this is over. But Manuel, she's right. You're very selfless. That's why we're going to protect you.
Thanks, JD. Anyways, let's figure this out. Yeah.
All right. So Carla takes the extra vial of acid and she has her gun drawn and she's looking around. She's looking at the vents. She's looking at the bottom of the door. She seems to have really assessed where the threat entry points are. So you can feel very covered that at least if something comes this way, Carla will try to notify you of it. Do you all enter the back lab area of Dr. Mallon's lab?
Yeah. I'll do so, yeah.
All right. As you step inside this lab area, you see that it is oddly sparse. The other labs seem to be well stocked. It had a lot of materials and things to use. This lab almost looks like the equivalent of a furniture showroom version of a lab. It looks very staged to you, especially you, JD. You know that it's impossible to do really anything with what's currently set up in here.
This isn't the lab. This is a fake. There's got to be a real one about somewhere. Maybe the machine we heard below.
I guess we better start looking then. I mean, Manuel's just gonna start. I don't know. Like, is there a secret lever? Is one of these beakers secretly attached to the table if you turn it the right way?
Yeah, roll read a bad situation.
All right. That's a 10.
Nice. So I believe you have hold 2 on that.
What is my best way in?
All right. So describe to me how you're looking for this, Manuel.
I think Manuel might start by trying to get access to any wiring in the walls. Maybe like taking the fire axe that he stole with them and just like trying to hack into it, just to expose the wiring and try to figure out where things are connected and if there's anything standing out. And maybe if that doesn't work at the same time, just kind of pushing things everywhere, checking if there's anything that like feels weird. Like he's probably like throwing beakers to the floor, partially out of frustration, but also just to check if they're like somehow controlling anything.
Nice. So Manuel starts to go ham on this room. Manuel, it doesn't take you too long, especially with the wiring and your knowledge of electricity, to see that this room is wired with circuits that are extra. Like the circuits are all accounted for. You're like, okay, that's lights, that runs the door power. Like, why are there all of these extra circuits? Where's this wiring go to? And you can see all of the wires go downwards. There's nothing that is unaccounted for that looks connected to this room in particular, but all of the wires are kind of stretched and taut downwards. You throw a bunch of beakers on the floor, the sound of smashing glass. Carla's like, everything okay back there?
We're just doing science.
Oh, gotcha. She seems to find this completely valid. With the beakers, though, nothing new is revealed. However, yes, you find... Sorry, what was the specific question?
What's my best way in?
Your best way in would be to follow the wiring or to find something that can create passage for you, because you've now determined that there is something below that is at least powered by electricity.
Okay. Crab? I'll pull out the crab and try to use it to scout, maybe try to stick it in the vents and see if like there's anywhere in the vents that would lead downwards into this room below us.
Nice. The crab, what do you guys think the crab looks like?
I imagine it has like actual pincers that like click as it walks, and like we're not really sure what they're for, but like the actual cameras are like the 2 little eye stalks on top that are like a little fragile, but like like have the like full range of motion and 360. And like when we pull out the camera, it's the 2 separate images, and like there's this whole other separate complicated controls. And like this button like clamped the pincers. What the heck is that for?
It's like the taunt button in a video game, just like click, 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 click.
Uh-huh.
Awesome. Cool. So this crab, can it scale surfaces with the pincers? Like, is it vertical or horizontal, or like, how do you imagine the crab?
Up like a cord or a rope, it can be told to grab little red crab, little crab remote.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe its feet are magnetic too, so it can go like the little clickety.
Totally.
Awesome.
Just like crab walk sideways down a wall.
No like defenses. He doesn't have any weapons on him.
So the little crab, you kind of like baby bird style, like, here you go. And the little crab is off in the wiring of the wall. With its pincers, it grabs onto the wire, and then Mission Impossible style, kind of begins to lower through the wall. While this is happening, Art, you begin to feel kind of an itching on your face where you were struck by these creatures.
I will, I don't know, find something reflective and just look, is it wound itchy or is it something else?
As you take a look in the reflection of one of the glass shards from the beakers that Manuel had been smashing on the ground. You see your reflection. The wound itself is kind of beginning to just heal over in the time. Like, it's not actively bleeding or anything, and you spent that time to do first aid on yourself. So there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with the wound. However, you do begin to see little silvery corn husk hairs begin to protrude from this wound.
Man. All right. Time to do something drastic in hopes that it will help. I'm going to take something glass so that it, won't dissolve. I'm gonna dip it in the acid and just kind of. That I know it's an awful idea, but
Oof.
it's better than becoming a corn monster.
As you do this, roll Act Under Pressure to see how well you can perform this maneuver on yourself.
Okay, that is a 9.
On a 9, it is a success. You have a choice here. You feel like you could potentially cut out the infected portion. However, it would deal you a significant amount of damage to do so. Or you could maintain it with whatever side effects it has, and not have to do, you realize you have to go pretty deep in order to cut it out.
The last thing I want is to become one of those things.
You're going for it?
I'm going for it.
JD and Manuel, as you are kind of sending the little robo-crab into the wall on its mission, in the background you hear, do you feel like Art would yell with this maneuver?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think they would probably wince, but they would keep it quiet, but there would definitely be like grunts of pain.
You hear kind of the noise of someone that is trying to hold back an intense amount of pain. Art, can you please mark 4 harm from the removal of this essentially piece of your face that you have cut out with a jagged piece of beaker glass?
Unstable.
Blood is pooling down your face and staining your parka and getting caught in the fur that's on the hood and matting it down as both of you look back and see Art visibly wounded.
Oh my god, Art!
What?
Art, you are not okay.
Are they here? What?
No.
Stop! We need to put pressure on the wound. Oh.
As you're reacting to Art's wound, Manuel, you hear the beeping of your monitors as the RoboCrab is beginning transmission of some visual signals.
Take care of the RoboCrab. I need to take care of. Manuel, take care of the
Alright,
RoboCrab.
yeah, make sure he doesn't die, please. And I'll trust JD and focus on the RoboCrab.
Can I grab some lab shit to bandage up Art?
You can try. There's not
Probably
too much
a
in
first
here.
aid kit.
First aid kit. There's not much in here. Fuck. They probably
Is there a
don't
first
have-
aid kit? I mean,
As JD
an
looks,
actual lab would probably have a first aid kit. It would have a first aid kit.
as JD looks in all of the
Actual
drawers, the drawers are, it's that feeling when you open up a drawer in a furniture store and it's just like kind of like there's like paper that looks like there's things in there, but it's just like a piece of paper like with printed images of like lab tools and things. Like there's nothing in here. It's like trompe l'oeil, like you at a glance would think this drawer is full, but then you touch it and it's just a drawing. There's nothing in these drawers.
These standards. All right.
You can do magic or something, can't you? If you.
Okay. Oh, I don't want to touch it. All right. Ah. Stopping the bleediness. Can I pull out like a menstrual pad and like
Go on.
And bandage it.
With magic.
Keep it stuck to soak up all the blood. And also she's gonna cast her, I don't know, whatever. Maybe she does have period magic. If I could, I would make it. So whatever. She's gonna try to stop the bleeding, but this is like the somatic component.
All right. Roll use magic. And as this is happening, Manuel, on the transmitter, the crab's eyes begin to display two different scenes, and we'll get to those shortly.
Yeah, it's 14.
14, holy moly. It works as intended. What is the intention for your spell?
The intention is to stop him from bleeding, like to stop the unstableness from bleeding, if that's possible.
Yes, it is. So
just something offhand I realized about while reading the magic effects. One of the effects you could choose is cure a disease. That probably would have been better.
That'd be stupid, though. That'd be a dumb way to end this fucking campaign. If I use it, and I will try to use it, I hope it doesn't work. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean,
this is I cut the disease out.
You never know. You never know. It's worth a try. But yes, so your magic is able to staunch the bleeding. And Art, go ahead and uncheck the unstable box. However, you do keep the harm because this is a significant wound that the layer of magic has kind of buffered and healed and prevented you from bleeding out, essentially, out of the large gash on your face. You are no longer unstable, which means you will not take further harm unless you are harmed again, pushing you into the unstable phase again. But for now, you are all right and stable. As Manuel, the crab image, kind of the swiveling eyes on the crab, projects the following. So it seems to be in an area that is looks like a real lab, sort of. Like there's a lot more materials here. There's a lot more things that can be used to make experiments, a lot more things that appear to be whirring and buzzing and lights are going off. It's way more intense, actually, than the other lab that you guys were in. The weird thing about it, though, is that there's also a lot of tanks, I guess you could call it, like big glass areas that are filled with like liquid that where things are suspended within it. So the crab is kind of rotating around and panning through the room, and you see a lot of kind of like humans in various states of distress, like on their faces, they're like screaming, and they are suspended in this liquid and they're just kind of floating there. And as the crab pans around, you can see that some of the humans look very normal. You notice that they're wearing ice fishing gear. So one of them even has an ice fishing pole and is kind of like suspended in this liquid. And as the crab pans its eyes along the row, the people begin to change from looking like humans that you have seen before to looking like more and more like the blobs that you saw in the hallway. Various parts of their faces begin to shift like a Picasso painting. And by the time they get to the end of the hall, they're looking completely like essentially just blasted apart and reassembled together with little bits of corn husk and corn kind of protruding from them. They're like lined up in this big hallway. They're kind of glowing and backlit and unmoving within these tanks. You also see a very large, like incredibly large metal door, essentially like a hangar door on the back of this wall. And that is what the robo-crab projects to you.
Can it find any, does it look like that hangar door is the only entrance to this place? Does it see any like a lift at all that would possibly lead to this lab?
As the eye rotates around, you do see behind it a large circular platform. The crab is kind of hanging out of a wall, like it kind of punched through a light, like a can light. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of see the large circular platform that has lights on the wall that looks like they go up in 3 little rows.
Gotcha. Guys, are you okay?
well enough, okay. The bleeding stopped.
All right. That's good. We gotta get you to the hospital, but also you guys should come look at this. We gotta help these people.
People? Oh, that's very concerning.
Yeah. We should call this. Part of me wants to. Maybe she doesn't need to see this, but maybe she should.
I think Carla has more to her than you might expect. She's come this far. She deserves to know.
Carla.
Yeah, is everything okay?
Yeah. You might want to come see this. We found some stuff out about the corn blobs.
She comes into the room, kind of still with the gun drawn, ready. What's going on? What happened to your face? She says to Art.
Science mistakes. Science has accidents. Very simple.
I'm kind of glad I chose to be a guard. What's going on?
So, this lab is fake. We have videos of the real lab there, and we found the missing people.
What missing people?
There are people who are going missing on the lake. And
oh, no, people were dying. They were falling into the ice. It was very dangerous.
Well, they are still alive, apparently.
Oh, that's great.
Here, look at this. Look at them. I mean...
She looks into the camera and sees the various states that the people are in. What's wrong with them?
Carla might be right, actually. They weren't dying, they weren't disappearing. They're dead, they're being animated by a fungus.
This science stuff sucks, Carla says.
Well, science stuff, yes, in particular, but most science does not.
Huh. I'll keep it in mind. She looks in horror at the screen. What do we do? How do we get down there?
So, I still have hold 2 from earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how applicable that would be, but could I, ask what's my best way in a second time?
Yeah. No, that's why you can hold it. Yeah, totally.
With, okay, now that I know, where kind of the drop zone is.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
To...
As Manuel looks at the wiring and kind of pieces it together with the projected images, and actually retro maps the can lights that the crab is hanging out of, and with his mundane powers is you know what? It would have to be right here. And as you point down, you see on the floor there is carved into the floor what looks like just a generic pattern, oh, this is what the floor looks like in this room. But it's a circular pattern that would fit the width of the elevator that you saw below.
I mean, I kind of hold up my axe. We could just break our way in.
There's got to be a button. She's gonna lay on the floor.
You feel the coldness of the metal as it is just a layer above much rock and ice.
Hey, Manuel.
What's up, JD?
I'm on rock. Rock on. I'm gonna look underneath the tables.
What are you looking for?
Looking for suspicious-looking pieces of gum or buttons or things like that.
As you look under the tables, you do see kind of the head table at the front of the room seems to have a drawer that is slightly open.
Oh, there's a drawer!
This drawer?
You need to rest, maybe. I'm sure you're kind of hurt, but if you want to help me look through the drawers.
I'll help as well.
So as JD and Manuel open these drawers, you see again kind of like the fake drawer cover, but on the front of the drawer there is like a small circular metal button. In the drawer you do notice as well a small scrap of paper, and it seems to be like a handwritten note.
What does it say?
As you look at it, it says the conference time 10 a.m. and it says the date, tomorrow's date, and it says the creature should be in place by then. And then it's like a little like memo to Malin.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you guys, I think we fucked up. We made sure the creature couldn't get to us, but we didn't make sure it couldn't get outside.
So I have to do something about that then.
We need to deal with this lab first while we're here.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. We need to deal with the lab first, but we can't forget about the citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would the E.D.E.N members like to do?
Push the button.
You push the button and the floor begins to rumble and shake. Whoop, and it kind of just spins open, like that little metal like porthole look, and reveals an elevator that's slowly rising up with floor lights. And the faint kind of like elevator music style of Pitbull kind of plays as the elevator rises up and becomes flush with the floor next to you. As this happens, through the vents in this room, you begin to hear a familiar gurgling sound. As you have now spent a little bit of time here, and these creatures have once again found an alternate way into the space where you are. And we're going to take a quick break as our monster hunters are about to enter a new area, a sinister area, again with kind of corn blobby creatures in pursuit of them. So we'll be back. It's 1:55 now. Can we be back at about 15 minutes, 2:10?
Okay.
Cool. See you guys back here at 2:10. And yeah, hopefully this goes well. I have full faith in your monster hunting abilities. Don't go anywhere, audience. We will need your cheering on as we enter Dr. Malin's laboratory. Hello, Internet. We are back. We are excited to bring you the stunning conclusion of Monsters of the Week, our limited series campaign. We are currently in the midst of some intense shenanigans with one of our monster hunters basically having to carve out part of their own face to save themselves from cornification, as they had been hit by some kind of corn blob monster that was perhaps infecting them. And they had to make a difficult decision. Manuel, using his mundane powers as the electrician to triangulate the location of a secret laboratory and kind of hone in on the mechanism to enter it. And JD, using magic in all sorts of ways, the ultimate buffer to protect, to infiltrate, to heal, to investigate, and to also summon pitbull music, which I think is the magic that we all need to get through the day. These three monster hunters, also joined by their now NPC companion, Matilda, or Agent Jones, who is along with you for this adventure. Unfortunately, the player could not be here today. So if you ever need an Agent Jones type thing, let me know. I'm NPCing Agent Jones, but otherwise she will not be in any danger. In the same way that Carla is. You've also been protecting Carla, a security guard who has joined you on this journey. You just found the entrance to the real Dr. Malin laboratory space, and the elevator has risen up and become flush with the floor in this circular metallic area. And you also found a note on Dr. Malin's memo pad talking about how the monster is going to be in position for the conference tomorrow. Monster hunters, what do you do?
How we enter?
Yeah, I mean,
Sneaky
we got the corn junk closing in on us. So I think we need to go. Let's go into the lab where the corn monsters were assumedly created, which is obviously the best way to escape the corn monsters.
Clearly a corn-free zone.
Yes.
So do you take Carla with you?
Of course. I'll leave her to the corn.
As you hit the button again on the desk drawer, the elevator begins to sink below the floor as you hear the familiar splat of a bag of flesh hitting the ground as these creatures have ejected themselves from the vents and begin slithering across the floor towards you. The elevator lowers down below, and you see kind of this fleshy bits begin to slither over the corners of the elevator where it was cut out from the floor, and just begin to rain down around you, like a little bit of a like a rain shower effect. But it's all just flesh-colored and blood-colored drips as they begin to just in a semicircle all around you as the elevator descends.
Is there like a terminate switch for these tubes?
In the room?
Yes. Like, is there just a button on the tubes or in the room somewhere that's just like kill all of the things in the tubes?
A very conveniently labeled button.
Yes.
As the elevator touches down, you can look for such a button. However, you have to pass through this little flesh wall of drippiness that is currently spitting down all around you guys from up above. Nothing has formed fully, but it is just dribbling flesh down on you. Would you like to exit through this?
How regular is the dripping? Is there like gaps where I could get through without getting...
Roll read a bad situation.
Right. That is a 10.
A 10. A 10 is success. You can hold 3.
Alright. I'll do... what's my best way in, I guess? Into the actual lab area, not just the elevator.
So this opens up into the lab area. Your best way in without getting gooped is, as you said, to time it, or to find something that you can hold over yourself that won't be immediately corroded by this substance that's falling down.
Are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
As you look through kind of it's like on a really rainy day when you look out the window and it's just misting and pitter-pattering, but it's that, but like flesh. As you kind of like peer through the light misting of flesh into the room beyond you, you can see that there are many vents in this room that could potentially hold more of these monsters. It's a well-ventilated area. Other dangers you haven't noticed. You do see in the tubes, I think like for you, Art, you haven't seen these yourself yet. You were kind of distracted by the face cutting earlier. You do see in the tubes individuals that look like they're dressed for ice fishing in various states of, I guess you could say, decay, turning into kind of this blob-like corn substance. They, as you're kind of reading the room on dangers, you see that at the top of this pod where they're being held is a large metallic pipe, similar to the type of the pipe that you saw in the lake, going upwards.
Well, I think we know where those ice fishes went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm gonna continue to hold one, and I'm going to just try and time it, jump through.
Wait, we should try to part the meat curtains.
Maybe I'll start
Phrasing,
taking...
JD, phrasing.
I don't know what you mean. Explain.
No.
I'll start taking my jacket off and kind of like, here, maybe we can like try to plug the gaps for a little bit and run through
With your jacket?
with my jacket.
Okay. Is everyone going with Manuel under his jacket?
Agent Jones, do you have an umbrella?
Agent Jones says, "Why, I thought you would never ask. E.D.E.N has equipped us with many different types of equipment when we need it. Let's see. Here."
I knew you'd be prepared for unseasonal weather.
So, because I think you picked that as one of your agency things.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Well, that's not a high-tech thing. That's like a purse thing.
You're asking for an umbrella?
Yeah.
She will spend the ability of the professional. Let me just review her playbook real quick.
Oh, I don't want her to spend anything on it.
Let's see. So with the agency, you picked that the agency has weird tech gadgets. And so she'll pull out an umbrella and then say, "Yes, this is exactly what I brought for this type of situation." And she'll press a button on the umbrella and it opens up and it spins. And it spins quickly so that it kind of like repels upwards and away from you, any kind of water or a substance.
Well, that works.
Jones, we should
Umbrella.
use the spores. That's amazing.
I'm just doing my duty. Thanks. I'll write this in my notes. Sorry, Alex. I'm trying my best, Agent Jones. But yeah, she hands you this umbrella.
Manuel.
You know, I'm glad I can keep my coat on. All right.
Cold in here, yeah.
Manuel has tried to disrobe like multiple times in this Arctic environment.
Disrobed, and now he's wearing cowboy pants to pay for it. I will gladly completely outfit, but I don't think you want to go without your coat.
You're probably right.
So as Manuel uses the
Onwards.
spinning umbrella, you are all able to kind of ferry yourselves across this little flesh wall of drippiness that's coming from above, passing the umbrella back and forth and moving through the wall unscathed. You do see that these bits and blobs are trying to reform. It will take some time for them to reassemble themselves as they have done a ranged attack, let's say, in trying to jump down here and hit you with their little bits. So they are quite disassembled at the moment. However, you see the little blobs begin to kind of like little amoebas start to inch towards each other again. So they are attempting to reform down here. Art, what was your last hold question?
I was just holding it for now.
Oh, sorry. What was your second one that you spent already?
Second one was Are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
So I will expand on that now that you're kind of beyond this drippy wall of disgustingness. You do see a large door on the back wall. It's the size of like a hangar deck. It has some electrical panels next to it to control its opening and closing. It's just massive, and the entire lab seems to be one big runway towards it. There are other types of experiments in here. You see like a big container full of like little spores, like little mold spores that are just floating up and down, kind of like a lava lamp. It seems like if anything in here were to break, it could potentially be dangerous.
Great. Okay, so careful not to touch anything or break anything. Touch stuff, just don't break it. You can touch stuff. Don't actively go.
Carla's like, wait, touching or no touching?
No touching. You no touch.
Okay.
You no touch. We have experience with this kind of stuff. We can touch.
Okay, sounds good. And she like has the gun ready anyway.
I kind of hate to say this. I don't mean this derogatorily. You are way out of your depth. So just stay by us and you'll be fine.
Carla's like, no offense taken. I've never felt like more of a mall cop in my whole life.
And a little bit of the blood just kind of oozes and drips on the floor, like, because it's mostly stopped, but then just like a bead just dropped.
It's okay, Carla. I am an electrician. I've been an electrician my whole life. I'm handling it. You got this.
Thanks, Manuel. And thanks also for your advice, Art. I agree. I'm here to help. Let me know what you need. Can we help these people? And she gestures to the floating remnants of folks.
Maybe
It's possible with science. We're going to try. Although I think I'm pretty sure they're dead. Like dead. I can't bring people back to life yet.
even the normal looking ones, are they dead?
As do you approach them?
Yeah, I'll approach them as I say this. I'll like walk towards one of the unmutated, hopefully, ones.
So you'll start at the closest end of the hall as they get progressively more inhuman. You see the face of this person is screaming. It's like frozen in a scream. They do not appear to have any vital signs. There's no monitors or heartbeat or anything. And the container is full of a very thick, viscous, gelatin-like liquid that is going all the way up to the top of the container, and you don't see them breathing.
Okay, maybe they are dead.
I'm gonna use my last hold to ask what's most vulnerable to me, trying to get at, can I make sure that these corn monsters don't wake up?
What is most vulnerable to me? So as you inspect the room, Art, you can see that in front of each of these tubes are basically interfaces, panels that can interface with the status of them. So potentially this could be used to open these cases. It can also be used to potentially evacuate the liquid. There are different functions and settings on here, and so you could potentially use this to destroy them. But there is a chance, if you don't understand it well, that you could also free them.
Let's push buttons and hope something good happens. I'll try and terminate the test subjects.
All right.
And because I'm acting on my read a bad situation, I get +1 while the information is relevant.
Excellent. So yes, go ahead and use that +1. I would say,
Which, by the way, is just a thing with read a bad situation, so we should be using that a lot more often.
Yeah, if you feel like, oh, I learned something and I'm applying it, feel free to call it out. But yeah, so you are probably, I would say, there's a bit of duress here, so I'm going to have you roll Act Under Pressure as you're trying to actively not unleash some doom upon your team, but potentially get rid of a risk.
Ooh, that is a 13.
Nice! With a 13, you are able to do what you wanted and something extra, or do what you wanted to absolute perfection? Which one do you prefer?
And I do what I set out to do, and if not terminate them, at least keep them from waking up. And for the extra, like, seal off the room? Like, is there, like, a button that's like, containment breach, seal off the room?
From above?
From above, from the vent, basically hermetically seal this room.
Yeah. So I will say, first, can you clarify your intention? Do you want to destroy them or preserve them from getting out?
Destroy them.
Destroy them. Okay. All of them?
Destroy. Yes.
All right. So you are able to successfully, you see Art kind of tapping away at this computer, and Manuel, you have to be like, as you're kind of looking at the different electric settings and being like, I kind of, okay, yep, nope, from the background. But Art is just like crushing it, whether it's from a past grift that involved some similar technology or just some innate talent on Art's part. They are able to successfully set this as set for destruction. The tubes begin to flash red, boop, 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 and just as you said, there is a breach warning. The vents all close with metal sheaths that kind of seal them, and the elevator again spins shut, locking you all down here. There are some drips that have gotten through. You estimate that they might form about 2 of these creatures, potentially, once they rejoin with themselves. But you are now shut in with these 2 blobs, but no further blobs can enter. However, you do notice that the big hangar door, instead of shutting, it begins to open in this emergency setting. And so the big door goes, escape imminent, as it seems to be an emergency hatch for this area. The red liquid begins to heat up, and you see all of the bodies in various states of cornification begin to bubble and boil, and the ones that are very cornified start to pop into popcorn. There's little flesh bubbles that pop and turn into popcorn as it just begins to float in the containers. The one that was the most human-like their eyes, which are like open and locked in a scream, are just staring into your eyes as they begin to kind of boil in this solution, and you see them begin to dissolve until there is nothing more in any of these cases.
I hope they weren't still alive.
We know for a fact that they were dead because that seems like a big decision to make pretty quickly.
You said they weren't breathing, right?
There's no monitors that indicated they were breathing, and they did not look to be breathing.
Well, I think for all of our conscience's sake, we're going to say we found them dead, right? Everyone?
I mean,
Carla nods vehemently.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, they were, and even if they were alive, they were infected, I mean, I'm assuming.
No, don't. They were dead.
Agent
They have been dead.
Agent Jones pipes up and says, "The agency's motto is take no prisoners. We could not have taken them back anyway. We must take no prisoners."
Agent Jones is right, as usual.
Let's not think about this anymore. Maybe we should, blobs.
Yeah, and Art will pull out one of the vials, because they still have 2 vials, I think, and just chuck it at the flesh pile, basically.
As you chuck it at the flesh pile, the blob that had been inching towards itself, a big kind of like Clayface in Batman, how it kind of turns into different things, the clay forms and turns into shapes. The blob and turns into a hand and catches the vial and throws it to the ground next to it as the arm begins to push itself up into a torso.
Okay,
what do you do?
That's not good. Okay. Okay, all I have is guns at this point.
Carla's like, now we're talking!
That's not a good thing.
Carla, don't you still...
This acid. We should figure out what's happening down here. I need to go look for papers explaining what's going on.
We need to deal with the blobs first.
Okay, here, take this acid. Take it.
Carla also
Well,
gives you
that-
guys some acid if you need it. She's got 2 vials.
Okay. Well,
You got 3 because I gave her one of mine.
Mm-hmm. Yes, she's got the
okay,
3.
yeah, I'll just
I'll
take
take one
them.
of mine back.
Okay. And I'll just kind of shove them all in a pocket and just pull one out. Okay, let's see if this works a little bit better. And I'll uncork the bottle and kind of, while it's still half formed, move up to it and just kind of, holy water! The power of Christ compels you.
As you say that, in your head, a deep and rumbling voice that only you can hear says, "Oh, you're testing my patience. How dare you?"
And I'll think that. No, you'll get your payment when we're done with this, alright?
You hear the voice say, "I know I will." As that moment passes, the acid that you have thrown down on it, well, you make the choice. If you want to get close enough to do like a little pour situation, you've got to get close. Otherwise, you're just kind of chucking it again.
Yeah, I'm flinging the acid. I'm trying to fling the acid, not the vial.
Okay. So you're
With
still at
whatever-
range?
Probably not like pouring on it close, but it's pretty close.
One of those like whoosh, like kind of throwing out the bathwater
Yeah.
motions? Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding when I was like, power of Christ. Like, I'm basically just doing that.
As you do that from a distance, the acid splashes down on it, and you can see the 2 on the blob, the 2 eyeballs like poke out on different sides of the flesh blob and look around and rotate to look at you, kind of like the crab robot does with like separate eye movement. And the acid is flying down at it, and it scatters, it dissipates. It seems like these creatures have learned a thing or two since their last encounter with you. The blobs begin to skitter across the floor towards you, and they are very soon at your feet, Art and JD.
Catch me! And she's gonna jump onto one of the lab tables, I guess?
As you jump onto the lab table, you see that you're standing on a pile of Dr. Mallon's paperwork. You can see it underfoot.
Art's going to jump back and pull out their gun
Okay.
because it's something.
Are you going to fire it?
Yeah. Are the eyes still there?
Yes.
I'll try and shoot one of the eyes.
Okay. You shoot at the eye. How much damage does your gun do?
2.
So the creature suffers 2 harm as the bullet pierces through the eyeball. It makes a sickening popping sound, and the eyeball kind of deflates, like where the bullet pierces through, and it just kind of soaks back into the blob. It looks hurt, but it's still hurtling towards you. It is going to, on your ankles, where it kind of like blobs up around your ankle, you feel kind of like, have you like roots on a plant where it gets all very like ropey and split? Like there's like a root and then there's like another little root and they kind of extend off of each other. You feel roots begin to wrap up around your leg and just squeeze the blood out of your leg. Like it's just constricting so tightly that you suffer 1 harm from this complete like lack of life to one of the extremities of your body in like a split second. And you can feel it getting tighter and tighter as it's beginning to crawl up your entire body towards your torso. What do you do?
I'm gonna take my knife and just try and cut the roots off and like just run back. Basically.
All right. The roots are severed and it kind of wilts backwards, but it begins skittering across the floor again. Manuel, you see this happening, and Carla's standing next to you, and she's like, "What do I do?"
Fleshy
Okay.
bits, not the goop. It's all fleshy bits. Shoot the parts that look like actual body parts.
Manuel,
Carla, shoot. Can you wait? Shoot this while it's in the air. Can you shoot this while it's in the air? And I'll hold up my acid jar.
yeah, I got it.
All right, ready? And I'll try to toss it and time it so that it'll like trusting Carla to shoot the acid when it's like above the goopy thing.
Awesome. Roll act under pressure to see if you can coordinate this with Carla.
Okay. Did I mess it up? 11.
Nice. With an 11, it succeeds. Carla kind of does that, closes her eye and sticks her tongue out and shoots at it, and the acid vial sprays down, shatters and sprays down, and it's hard for them to dodge because it's so disparate. And it just begins to like sizzle into these pieces. They veer away from Art, they veer away from Manuel and Carla. JD, you're up on the desk. But they still keep going, and they seem to be skittering up and out of the area towards the hangar. And you hear them go, and if you pay attention very, very closely, it sounds like, "We're coming." And they all exit the hangar.
They left?
They left out the big door.
Art, is everybody okay? First thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think so.
Ish, not great, but you're still missing a chunk. It's fine. You can grow a beard.
Listen, yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
We're not gonna have you like cut
They-
dress your.
And I'll like pull up my pant leg and just look like, is there marks? Is there any actual, like, was it just like essentially squeezing the blood out, or was it like actually getting into my skin?
You at first just see kind of like a lash mark all around in the pattern of the roots where they squeezed. As you look closer, you see tiny fibrous material that was left behind that entered through the fabric.
Great. And I'm not feeling too hot, I don't think. What do we do here?
Dip your leg in the juice. Dip it in the juice.
Wait, won't that make it worse?
Want to get rid of it? It got rid of the dead people who were dead who were infected with fungus, but you're alive.
Yeah,
Kill the fungus.
I lost a lot of blood. That first little.
What can I do to help? Here, let
I don't know. I'm not the one who knows about this stuff.
Okay, look, your pants are all pulled up, yes? Good.
You're the
Don't take
science.
them off. I want to make more pants.
You're the science magic lady.
Alright. I see there's little hairs now on your leg.
Yeah.
No solution for this. Gelaticus cuticus.
What happens?
His little hairs off his leg. Like his normal hairs, and then also... I mean, their normal hairs and also the little filaments.
Okay, roll use magic.
Did you say?
6. 7 plus 4. 11.
11.
Well, that means you get your effect.
You get your effect with
Did
no
you-
glitch.
Did he say Gelaticus cuticus?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm because that's amazing.
So what happens,
It's-
JD?
The little fungus filaments get like cut off of their skin, and also they are left with a very smooth leg. Very, touch my leg, it's so smooth. Very smooth leg.
As the filaments fall off, you see that they have been completely evacuated from your body. Like they had just been placed there, so they didn't have time to take root yet.
I think we're fine. Yeah, fine. You know what? I'm just gonna say we're fine because we're fine. This is not gonna go like last time. We're fine.
Carla looks around and she's like, "This doesn't look fine. Dr. Malin was up to a lot of things that she didn't tell anybody about. What is all of this?"
Look at me as another blood drop.
I don't want to. I don't want to, honestly, I'm trying to avert my eyes.
This is fine.
It's not fine.
No, I think I agree with Carla here, Art. I don't think, I mean, we can do something. We got to do something about this.
I mean, yeah, but
Where were those things going?
They left out the hangar. They must be going to the conference. The monster's going to be in place. I don't know what that means. Let's look at these papers.
yeah, okay, yeah, do that. I'm gonna lay down. I'm just gonna lay down.
Where do you lay down?
I'm just gonna lay down on the floor.
Oh, it's nice. I tried that earlier. Feels good.
Try
JD.
not to lay down in the acid.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of acid and broken glass everywhere, so.
I'm gonna find a place that like up by the console that I did the thing where I'm assuming was a fair enough bit away from the blobs.
Yes.
It wouldn't be acid or glass.
You can take a nice relaxing nap next to the glass container that holds the remnants of what was once a human being.
Yes.
JD, the paperwork. What are you doing with it?
Reading it. I'm gonna see what the fuck he was doing, what she was doing, what the plan was.
What are you interested in most?
Most interested in what is the ultimate goal for this mutation? That it can infect human beings, and clearly they're trying to infect human beings, so what do they intend to do with that?
As you look through the paperwork, you see notes in Dr. Mallon's hand on her legal pad with her, official, paperwork and everything. These are notes to herself for the most part. It seems like you don't see any evidence of Harry's handwriting or anything related to Harry. It doesn't seem like Harry was allowed back in this area. She is writing notes to herself saying, the genetic modifications to the seed samples are going well. I was able to find the key to the biggest modification in a seed sample from Amsterdam. And this has unlocked my ability to fully complete my experiment. I do believe that I will be able to help save humanity with my work. Once people eat of the food that will be grown with these seeds, they will turn into the wonderful creatures that I have created. People will no longer need to eat plants and food and starve to death because there isn't enough. Now we can just eat one another and infect one another for all of eternity until the world is overrun with my beautiful, beautiful plants. These are little notes that she's written kind of like in a diary fashion. In there too, you see a lot of science experiments, results. You see I need more subjects to fully test the seed's corrupting powers. You see schematics for the construction of a series of tubes underneath the lake that lead into this very facility.
The tubes look like they have some intake, or does it look like they're merely collecting things that fall into the lake, or does it look like they're like shooting holes in the ice to grab people?
The latter. Yeah, it looks like there's a series of tubes that kind of collect people from the surface of the lake and bring them into this facility for experimentation.
Oh, this is really... Look at this. I don't want to speak too soon, but it looks like Dr. Mallon was definitely murdering people. I have to wonder, has she infected herself with this? Because it seems to make you pretty dumb, but she talks in here about all of humanity is going to become this. We'll all be super happy corn family people children of the corn who eat each other. But I don't think she's a corn person. We should have her take a dose of her own medicine.
Has anyone seen Dr. Mallon recently?
Carla?
I mean, I know Harry saw her a lot. Last I saw of Harry, he said he was going to go check on some of the seeds that looked disturbed from the Amsterdam box, and he never came back out. I guess you could ask him if you see him.
Oh shit, Harry. We should have seen him.
I think we did see him. We're in the blob. Just maybe not in a way we could recognize, but I think that's what happened to him.
Okay. I've had a nice little lie down. I think we need to get going after these things. Because
You're right.
I mean, I don't know about you guys. I don't want corn people to be the dominant species, you know?
Carla's like, yeah, they're gross.
My job, yes. They're crunchy folk.
Man, people said that her experiments were going to save the world. I thought I was part of something positive.
I mean, the rest of the seed vault is regular. There's regular seeds that aren't corn monsters.
Yes, the rest of the seeds are good, and things she learned here in her research were pretty evil, but maybe some of them can be good. I don't know.
It's not all bad.
Not all bad. Most evil scientists start as good scientists.
JD, in the paperwork, you do see some of her earlier experiments with an earlier date stamp on it were about modifying food to reduce hunger. So allowing food to have longer lasting effects to keep people full more. But then you see in the notes kind of scribbles on the side that says, why do people need food at all? ? And maybe we're better off as a different type of species ?
That's a fun transhumanist flavor. Look at this. Ignore the part in the margin, but look, here you are for something good. You do good things, Carla. You're brave. I'm proud of you. Now we have to do another good thing, though, which is go out there and stop Henry's decomposed flesh from consuming the town.
I can't stop laughing.
Let's get moving, guys. Let's get moving. I think we should hurry. Maybe drop by Walgreens, pick up some stuff.
Long last Walgreens! Actually, I had an idea. The juice in those containers can kill the fungus, right? What if we load up your flamethrower jacket with that juice and maybe some other things? Maybe a spray bottle with the juice and squirt it on it.
That could work.
You know, I'm down for a Walgreens trip. I've expressed that to opening many times. I don't want to push.
Are there any large jars we could fill up with this?
Yes, there are many large jars. Some of them have already contained samples. There's various twitching pieces of flesh, some mold spores floating around, but you do find some empty jars, much like the one that Mary's drinking out of.
Maybe we could fill up these jars and then drop by Walgreens for some water guns.
Perfect idea! I love the way you think, Manuel, yes!
Carla gestures around at the locked down room and she's like, I don't know how you guys think we're getting out of here, but this looks pretty well sealed.
In your door? We can follow after the blob.
If you guys think that's best. I'm not a hunter.
We might be able to go up through the tubes that they use to suck people down. I bet we could go reverse, send the robo-crab up to explore, but Carla!
Oh god, the robo-crab. Is the robo-crab okay?
The robo-crab is hanging upside down from the ceiling and its eyes are rotating down at you.
Oh, he's simply back.
You have a live feed of the entire battle, on your phone saved.
Gonna put that on YouTube later, except for, no, we're not gonna do that. Specifically, we're not gonna do that. Carla!
Yeah?
You are a hunter! You're in this now! Do you see Manuel? He can do weird shit like I can, and he doesn't zone out and talk to himself sometimes like art, but he still helps. He does an amazing job, and you're doing awesome stuff. You're a hunter now, too, so start acting like it.
All right, you're right. I am a hunter. Let's go kick some ass! And she just kind of goes to shoot a round off in the air and then thinks better of it and just goes, bang!
That's the spirit.
Very cool. All right, let's go.
So where is the group going?
First, we fill out some jars.
Oh yeah, we gotta fill.
Yeah, you are
It's-
able to fill up the jars full of this liquid. It seems to. It was preserving the creatures, but now that the destroy sequence has been activated, it is caustic to them.
Perfect.
So I would say you have about 4 or 5 jars of it.
Yeah, can I like refill my jacket with the stuff? Does it eat through the jacket?
No, it goes right into the containers.
Sick. And, hey, so JD, I've seen you do the magic, of course. Is weapons like a thing that you can like? Could you like make it so my gun will actually do something?
Oh yeah. Oh, could do that. Yeah. Oh, what do we want your gun to shoot? What do we want it to shoot? What do you want your gun to shoot? Hypothetically, if you had to change it to one thing.
I mean,
You-
fire seemed
could
pretty
you-
effective. Just like,
Well,
Can you make bullets out of these things? Like, you know how like you have like ice. Are ice bullets things, or are those just things that you read about in like super spy book? I mean, you guys know the super spies, right? Are they real things?
we are super spies. That's us. Maybe Agent Jones has something that can freeze them to super cold temperature.
I just wanted to be okay. Fine, incendiary rounds, all right? Just stuff that when it hits, it'll be fire.
All right, you know what I'm going to do?
Wait, Agent Jones has a grenade launcher.
I do, yes, I do. It was regulated and issued to me.
Agent Jones, you gotta refuse that shit. It's all right. I know you got a
That
lot
would
on
have
your
been
mind.
profoundly helpful in dealing with the two that got through.
You
and
really would have been.
fifty.
Oh, I'm so
busy holding those jars now. So what can you do?
I'm so sorry. I forgot that I was holding it. It's heavy.
It's all right. I actually forget I even exist sometimes. So we all forget. We all forget things. But yes, this gun. Let me see your gun. Let me see your gun.
The grenade launcher or the gun?
I will hand over, this time instead of the pistol, it'll be a hunting rifle that I had slung on my back.
See? Sometimes you forget the weapons you have.
Very true. But the best weapon is friendship.
Carlos, still holding the gun, says, "Nah, that's bullshit."
Well, that's fair. All right, give me just a minute here. She's gonna tinker with it. She's gonna like, if she could have in her pocket like hot sauce packets from the cafeteria,
Totally.
I would like her to like pull them out and like do a thing with them in the gun so they shoot like acidic, fiery hot sauce bullets.
Awesome. Roll use magic.
5 and a 5 and a 4, so it's 14. God, I am rolling really well today.
Holy
It feels
moly.
really-
I don't even know why I have you roll use magic. It seems like just a thing. Yes. What is the extra effect? It happens just as you created it, but what is the extra effect of it?
Okay. No, I mean,
It's a direct effect that I was kind of trying to get at there. That is +1 harm and plus magic to the...
yeah, I gather the +1 harm is what I would like it to do. Is +1 harm, and then the extra effect is it also is fire.
Awesome. So you have a gun with however many rounds that you have in it with fiery +1 harm bullets that can impact these creatures.
Here, you need the rest of these. Take them. I have literally pockets full of hot sauce.
As
You know,
you
you can play for free on cafeteria giveaways. 3 little packets of ketchup is a wonderful soup.
at the mention of ketchup, Carla looks uncomfortable and she's like, "Where did that ketchup come from earlier?" It's hard to tell time down here, but you get the sense that the day has shifted from mid-afternoon to evening. And with the darkening of the skies outside, that means that we've moved into another phase of our timeline. And the group begins to hear a loud cracking sound coming from down the tunnel, the hangar door tunnel.
Probably go.
We need to go.
After
Let's
that.
go. To Walgreens.
Let's start running down this tunnel.
All right. As Manuel heads the charge down the tunnel, you all follow?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So our monster hunters in a badass slow-mo sequence with all of their souped-up weapons, and Carla in tow as well, run down this tunnel. As you go into the tunnel, you notice a shoe that looks a lot like a lab assistant shoe. And you see a badge with Harry's picture on it. And you see scuff marks on the floor. So that is what you see near the entrance of the tunnel. As you keep going through, the metallic tunnel opens up into still a tunnel, but in certain areas it has transparent material that you can see through. And you can see that you are no longer inside the mountain, you are underwater. You see kind of fish and little floats of ice drifting past you as you make your way through this tunnel. I'd like you guys to roll a custom move called Tunnel Navigation. Can everyone please let me know, how are you proceeding? Are you just like going as fast as you can, or are you checking out your surroundings as you proceed through the tunnel?
Keeping an eye out for the blouse, but otherwise I'd say go as fast as possible.
I think
We're-
the sound that we heard.
I was gonna say I thought we were looking for an exit.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So
Let's go to Walgreens, dude.
So I would like Manuel to roll plus cool. And those of you that are going quickly or kind of with intention to just like follow the sound as quickly as possible, roll plus tough.
Manuel got a 7.
Tough. Plus 0 for me. Say 2 and a 4.
4.
6.
5. All right. So for those of you who are kind of barreling through this area, you end up getting separated. The tunnels branch out into kind of a labyrinth, and you both think like, this is the way, like this is where the sound came from. I'll just see you around the other corner. And as you run headlong down the tunnel, you begin to separate from one another, and it's hard to backtrack around the bend. So JD and Art are separated. Manuel and Carla are still traveling in the tunnel together. You got a 7, Manuel?
Yes.
It's a partial success. As you guys are able to navigate through this tunnel together, it gets colder and colder within the tunnel as you are now underneath an icy body of water. I need you to take 1 point of cold harm from the icy air around you.
Okay.
I do want to point out it's 3. Are we okay on time to maybe like do another 15? Or do we need a hard stop? I'm totally fine either way.
Good to keep going.
Yeah, I'm good to keep going.
Okay.
Is it going to be a 4-session thing? Because I would love to have Agent Jones back for the finale.
You think? We could do that.
Yeah, let's.
Do you guys want to do another
We got the
wrap-up
climactic
session?
chase sequence. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
What do you think,
Yeah, it would be
Jimmy?
nice,
Yeah.
it would be nice to have.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have
Totally.
Alex here too. For the
Okay.
final thing. Yeah, let's.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I just didn't want to sign you up for another session if you were like, I signed up for 3. What are you doing to me?
No, totally.
One.
Awesome.
As long
Gives me a
as
little
this is
bit
gonna
more
go, I'm
time to
willing to
think
keep
about
playing.
how Art's gonna react to their collect call.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right, so let's then wrap up this scene, and then we'll plan to continue like this story in the next session, which will be, are you guys free next Sunday?
I should be.
Okay, we'll do the nitty-gritty schedules. I forget I asked. Schedules are a black hole. We'll do the nitty-gritty schedule stuff offline, but it'll either be for our viewers next Sunday or the Sunday after that. For those of you watching right now, we normally play in the mornings, but I will post all that information on Twitter, so make sure you follow me at Insight Checked so you can keep up to speed with what we're up to and our shenanigans. But now that I've broken immersion completely, let us re-immerse ourselves in our story here. So Manuel and Carla, you are icy cold. You can see your breath in this tunnel. At some points, it feels like you're traveling uphill, and sometimes it feels like you're going downhill. And you feel just like you're lost in this. Basically, you feel like you're in a water slide at a water park, except you're completely submerged. It's dark and scary, and the only time you can really see clearly is when there's a break in the metallic sides of the pipe, and you can kind of see out into the water around you, and like the light is like filtering in from above. And for JD and Art, you are all separate. You are separated from each other and from the entire group. You are cold and you feel very alone as these tunnels echo, and you can hear your footsteps as you're kind of walking on the clanking metal below. That cracking noise that you heard earlier, it keeps getting louder and louder. And it sounds like just something like very hard and like unforgiving, just snapping. As you all walk forward, could you describe to me what your character is thinking to themselves as you move forward into the darkness of the tunnel? Let's start with Manuel.
Okay. I think Manuel has developed this mantra in his head whenever things are going to shit and he has no fucking clue what is going on. Just like, okay, I got this. I've been through this before. I can do this. And he's probably playing it under his hand, and given how dark it is, he's probably like grabbed onto Carla's hand as well, just so that they don't get lost or separated with everyone else. And kind of looking around, keeping his eyes out, probably has like his phone on with the flashlight to guide their way, and just like, okay, I'm gonna make it, and we're gonna make it through this, and I'm gonna call Karina once it's all over and tell her I love her, and get to see
Kalevi.
Get to see. Forgot my son's name for a second. Again.
Happens. As you have the phone outstretched with the flashlight on it, you see the time, and the time is the time that you're supposed to talk to Kalevi. It's now. That is where we'll pick up with Manuel. JD, what are you thinking as you walk alone through these tunnels?
I sure hope the tunnel isn't breaking. It'd be really stupid if we walked into it, chasing the sound of it breaking, and then were killed by a wave of water. I'd hate if that happened. It's cold down here. I sure hope Tyrone 2 is miserable, but I don't know why he disappeared. Maybe Malin is stealing more people. I hope Tyrone 1 is okay.
As you think all these thoughts, you see your reflection in one of the clear parts of the tunnel that allows you to see outside into the icy water around you. You see your own reflection, and for just a moment, just a flash of a moment, you see Tyrone 2, your ex-boyfriend. His face is reflected in the side of the tunnel for a moment. He's bundled up as well. He has like a parka on. He looks like he's geared up for this environment. And it's just a flash, and then he's gone. And that's where we'll pick up with JD next time. Art, what are you thinking as you walk alone through these echoing tunnels?
Essentially just repeating in their head, please tell me I have enough time. Please tell me I have enough time.
And
Just,
what are you referring to at the time?
Before as I've been calling it, the collect call, before whatever dark thing I made a pact with comes to take its due.
As you're walking forward in this tunnel, you feel the darkness around you, heavy like a blanket, almost kind of like a weighted feeling on your shoulders and back, dragging you down, as the voice in your head says,
"Oh, there's always enough time for me."
And the darkness ahead of you and the darkness behind you makes you feel very alone and trapped. And that is where we'll pick up with Art next time. as our hunters are making their way towards the sound of a loud kind of cracking noise. They have Dr. Mallon's plans now unveiled, but they're not quite sure how she plans to implement beyond the creation of these creatures. How can the monster hunters kind of resolve this and keep those who need to be saved, keep them safe, keep themselves safe? What is Dr. Mallon up to in this icy landscape? And where is Harry? All these questions and more will be answered next time on our real concluding episode. I know I faked you all out and said today's the conclusion. It's not. #pacing. But I'm so happy that you guys got to play today. We had a really good time. Thank you all for hanging out. And we're going to go to end screen here, but stick around. We're going to raid another awesome RPG player. We'll just take a little gander here at who is playing fun things. And it looks like interesting. It looks like there's a bunch of stuff I don't know. So we're just gonna raid someone random and be like, what game is this? But thank you all for playing, and yeah, we'll see you soon, either next Sunday or the Sunday following. Follow us on Twitter to stay updated. But thank you all so much.